Welcome to our farmhouse cottage. I'm Melody and thank you for joining me today. I have a new DIY for you that I think you're going to enjoy. If you don't mind, hit that like and subscribe button. It would really help my channel grow. Thank you. A while back I was watching a DIY challenge and Sammy from Unicorn Dust Designs actually made this beautiful shelf using a wagon wheel footboard. Not many of us have a footboard laying around that looks like that. So I'm going to show you how you can make something very similar, and dare I say it, high-end looking, using materials that cost pennies on the dollar. I hope you enjoy. I'm going to take 4 pieces of foam core board, and I'm going to take this string and fold it into a 15-inch piece. I'm going to mark down the middle of the board to find my center, and I'm going to use my yardstick to make a long line down the middle. I'm going to take that yardstick and I'm going to get it from corner to the very end of that point on that line and draw basically a V. I'm going to take my yardstick and place it center in the middle of the yardstick and draw a line on both sides. So each one of those lines is approximately an inch wide. As you can see here, I'm doing my last one. I'm going to take that yardstick twice, which would be about 2 inches, and draw a line. Now I'm going to take that same string and I'm going to make it 15 inches long with a loop on the end. Put my pen in there and we're going to draw this arc. We're going to take that same string and take it down to 13 inches and leave the loop on the end to draw the other part of the arc. So the arc is about 2 inches wide, and the little separators inside the arc, the little V parts, are only going to be about 1 inch wide. The bottom is a 2 inch wide. Now we're going to take our X-Acto knife and we're going to cut it. You're going to see why I leave that little part, the little tip of those, sections at the bottom. You'll see why, because we're going to need that to affix something else to it. We're just going to pull those pieces out and cut it as smooth as we can. It does not have to be perfect. You'll see why here in just a moment. But we're just going to keep cutting that out. We're going to do that 4 times. So this will be the first one, and then we're going to do 3 more. I'm just going to keep cutting it out. It actually takes it took me about 5-6 minutes for each board. It wasn't time, it was time consuming, but it wasn't like hard to do. It's foam core board, so it was pretty easy. If for some reason your blade gets dull, take you a nice big ball of aluminum foil and you can sharpen your blade and that aluminum foil. I'm sure most of you already know that, but if you don't, that's a good tip. You could really sharpen that up. I had to keep doing that in the middle of the video. I should have showed you how I did that just in case you didn't know. But you want to make sure the ball of aluminum foil is about the size of at least a baseball, because you do not want to stab your hand. You're just going to stab your blade into this ball of aluminum foil and it sharpens your blade nicely. But anyhow, here I am. I'm just going to cut around the outside of this arc. This is our wagon wheel. Half of a wagon wheel. Maybe a little bigger than half a wagon wheel, but you understand what I'm saying. So we cut it out. We're going to lay it on top of each piece and we're just going to trace it out. I'm just showing you how I did it. Just trace it out. Now we're going to glue all 4 pieces together once we're done cutting them out. This is going to create a very nice, thick piece of basically foam core board. You want it to be nice and thick. I wanted it to be thick because I wanted it to really look like a thick piece of wood. So we're just going to glue it all together. I used a lot of glue. I don't really know why I used so much glue, but I wanted it to hold together good. So here we go. And this will be our last piece. Just going to get it on there. After we're done with this and we're done gluing it on, you'll see we are going to take tape. And we're just going to tape it. Masking tape. Just tape it all over. You want to have like a papery kind of tape. You don't want like duct tape or anything. And you'll see why. At least in my opinion, it sticks better to this. But I'm just going to show you we're not going to show you the whole thing. I'm just going to show you a little part of it where we're just going to tape it all around. Make sure everything is covered. You want to make sure all your foam core board is covered. And I'm just taping. Front, back, sides, cracks, everything you want covered. So it's all covered. And voila. We're going on to the next point. I had to make a couple half circles. I was going to go with 4, but you'll see I changed my mind and I did 2 of one size and 2 a different size. These ones I want to say are approximately 4 to 5 inches from the flat part to the very top of the arc. And then we're going to do 2 more slightly smaller. I do not have measurements for them. It really didn't matter to me just as long as I had that look there, because that's what a wagon wheel kind of looks like. We're going to glue those pieces together and we're going to tape. And there they are all taped up. And now we're going to find the center of our wagon wheel, put it down there, and draw our lines. I'm drawing my lines so I know exactly where to glue it. And we're going to go ahead and apply a generous amount of hot glue, and we're going to place our half circles down on that. And this is why I wanted it taped. This next part we're coming up to, I'm showing you how nice it looks. There we go. We are going to paint this with joint compound. It's just all purpose. We're going to paint it all over. You want it all over. This is what's going to give you that nice wood texture. It also makes it a little thicker, a little heavier, and it looks like genuine wood when we're done. You want it to be on there. You want it to just cover the whole thing. I did not do the back of mine, but if you're going to do this for resale, you might want to do it. And that's what it looks like, all painted and dried. I changed my mind here. So we're just going to move on to this and we'll go back to that. I took 2 pieces of wood that were 30 inches long and we're going to do some pilot holes. I think we did about 5 or 6 pilot holes, because what you want to do is you want one to be your shelf and one to be the back of the shelf. Is what's going to hang down like underneath the shelf. So there we are, just kind of screwing them in. We took 2-inch screws, which, you know, they worked perfect. We're going to get them all in there, and we're just going to show you just the one, and you're going to do that to all of them. I believe we show you one, yeah. I painted the whole shelf gray. Decided I changed my mind, and I wanted it white. And you're going to see that those 2-inch pieces of wood right there, they are 2 inches. They're 2 by 2s, and we cut them at 8 3/4 long with a 45-degree angle. You'll see that they're on there, the braces, they're on there, but I changed my mind. So after I was done with the white paint, I did not let the white paint dry. I put this elephant paint by Waverly on there, and I'm gonna now go back and forth between gray and white to blend those colors in. I like the blended look. You don't have to do that. You paint whatever color you want. I personally like the smoky looking wood. So we're just gonna go ahead and I'm gonna go back and forth blending it in as nicely as I can. It's just a matter of however you like it. You might just want to paint it white and then distress it. That's fine. I did this because it actually goes with my decor. And I'm still blending. Okay, now I'm going to show you this spindle. This spindle is, I believe, 13 inches long. And we put pilot holes in those, and the they're the 2 by 2s that were cut at 8 3/4 inches long. We did pilot holes in them. And now we're basically going to screw them onto the spindle right here. The angle was a little hard to get. Some things might have been off camera, and I apologize. It was just really hard to hold that on camera and do the whole thing. But you see that little square on the piece of the wood that's not painted? That's where they originally were. And I changed my mind as usual. Now we're going to take our painter sticks that we cut down and we're going to glue them onto the back. I personally, if I had to do this over, or if I was reselling it, I would probably just use wood glue and clamp them and just wait for them to thoroughly dry. Or you could have put those on the wagon wheel, used the tape, and gone around all that after you glued them in. But this is what I did. It's going to be hanging on my wall, so I'm not selling it. This is just how I decided to do it. It didn't screw in well to the foam core board, and basically we found out if we wanted the screw to go in, we had to go very slow. This is just sped up, so it looks like it's really long. But there we go, and I'm showing you there how I decided to place those pieces of, well, the 2x2s with the spindle. That's where we screwed them in. We did the pilot holes and everything, which we ended up doing off camera because for some reason we weren't in view of the camera. And now here we are, just screwing the wagon wheel onto the back of the shelf. And if you want, you can hang your D-rings at this point. If that's how you're going to hang it, put your, your D-rings, or they have the claw-looking hanging mechanisms. I don't even remember what they're called now off the top of my head, but here we are, just continue to screw it in, and you'll see at the end of it, it turns out very nice. Real quick, if you like this video, give it a big thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. We'll be coming out with many more videos. Thank you so much for watching this DIY.